Dr. Jackie, if you're unfamiliar, she is from Married to Medicine, and she's a Black female doctor. She did a YouTube live back in 2020 where one of her classmates, castmates, Dr. Heavenly, and she made some comments about Black women who cry wolf about their pregnancy. She says sometimes as African-American women, we're a bit more dramatic, and that you go to the doctor and you complain and you complain and you complain and you're not taken seriously because you cry wolf the entire pregnancy. She said, we want to also make sure that you're being serious with your doctor and not playing the game so that you could take off work, because then we see you 25 times in a pregnancy. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a problem. And when I first heard this, I was low-key tight, because if you know, the mortality rate for Black women is substantially higher, 3 times higher than that of white women. We hear about it all the time. And you would expect someone like Dr. Jackie, and I've heard from people, friends of mine who are really familiar with Dr. Jackie, that in the past or in general, she is an advocate. So they was kind of surprised that she made these statements as well. But I was just like, it's statements like that, it's mindsets like that. What I heard during that 2020 interview, why the mortality rate is as high as it is, because we hear Black expectant mothers say it all the time, that the doctors a lot of times don't be believing them. They look at Black women as like superheroes or unhuman, or just like what they're saying isn't valid when they're expressing certain pains or what have you. And then, God forbid, they end up dying behind it because the doctors didn't believe their concerns when they were expressing them. So I was super disappointed when I heard that. And I was like, nah, she wilding. And a lot of people on the internet felt the same way, and they started calling her out on it. She started to receive crazy backlash to the point where she first released a written statement regarding it. And she said, recently a clip from a nearly 2-hour video was taken out of context to make it appear that I somehow take lightly what I have advocated for concerning the devastating problem facing the Black maternal health crisis. It has been my life's work to highlight and attempt to rectify the issues that devastatingly impact Black maternal mothers versus our counterparts. She said, as a physician, I educate my patients every day to be their own best health advocate as we continue to face medical mistreatment and gaslighting. My intention with the broader conversation was to ensure patients enter their pregnancies armed with information and tools to effectively communicate their needs with their doctors to ensure a positive outcome. She said a few more things, but I don't feel like reading all that. The last of it, though, she says, the reason I became an OBGYN is because growing up, I saw such a lack of diversity amongst medical professionals and was determined to be a part of the change. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I will continue to fight for the lives of Black mothers and babies. Appreciate that, but that's not what we heard on the clip. And so people continue to go in on her. The backlash started getting stronger and stronger. Dr. Jackie felt the need to do a video apology next. And she started it by saying, first and most importantly, the Black women and mothers, including your friends and medical community who care for you, because my words left you hurt and feeling unsupported. She said, I want you to know that I hear you, I see you, I believe you, and I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I am brokenhearted over this. The guilt and reality that I have hurt and offended people, especially Black women and some of my own patients, pains me to my core. There's a longer message in the video. If you go to @Holliewood and Friends on Instagram, you can watch the actual video apology from Dr. Jackie. She got emotional during it. Some people saying she was crying with no tears, but She got emotional behind it. She was all shaken up. But I mean, I guess let this be a lesson, and I hope what she was saying in the 2020 interview was not what it appeared to be, because you also even had some people who were claiming to be former patients of hers who had like some stories about their experience with her, and it wasn't necessarily good. So, you know, all it takes is one slip up, I guess, if you will, before the floodgates open. And we just gotta do better. I mean, like she mentioned, the reason she became OBGYN, and you will want to be the change you want to see, right? You don't want to be that doctor that is joining on the bandwagon of not believing. I don't care if you see them 25 times. Maybe she felt this pain 25 times. Like, believe her. And then maybe the mortality rate won't be 3 times as much as white women. Because that's still to this day. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And I want to note before I move on, the reason that initial clip from 2020 even resurfaced is because Dr. Jackie just did a panel or interview with the VP, Kamala Harris, and they were talking about that very thing, about the mortality rate and amongst Black women in comparison to others. And you know, the internet gonna look it up. They probably was like, wait, what? Didn't you say this? For the ones who was tuning in back in 2020, like, didn't you say XYZ? Pulled up that interview, posted it. Here we are. But yeah, let's do better in 2024.